So I still have no idea like what's going on. Um, and I'm just making a video just to kind of say what I think should happen from here. The last 2 years I've kind of gone back to believing that it was all nonsense, or at least that was the only way I could seem to cope with my life or cope living, by believing it was all nonsense. But yeah, I feel like I've been kind of woken up again, and um, yeah, I'm seeing a huge amount of evidence that what I believe is right, and therefore I just want to say a future plan on what I think should happen. Um, I don't know, because it's completely up to you. And I've put out the Third Testament, and it's just a whole bunch of suggestions and sort of little stories and stuff of just how I just things that come to my head when I'm thinking of those characters. I don't even have time to read them all and say what's like how accurate it is, or if my mind's changed or whatever. But yeah, I want my religion to be exposed. I want people to have the opportunity to think that I'm wrong and to insult me and to put me down. I mean, they're not actually going to do it to my face, because I will be completely ignoring everyone and stuff. But yeah, I think there needs to be a 6 month period. Um, the Feast of Trumpets is the seventh month, first day of the seventh month. So I think that will be when you come to get me. The seventh, because my calendar is the Jordanian calendar, not the Jewish or Hebrew, but it has to be this year. I think I'm really certain it has to be this year. Um, Otherwise, I'm just going to have a baby with someone else, and that's probably going to ruin the plan, because if I'm saying how I like Martin and maybe new guy, um, I having a baby with a third person is just going to complicate things a lot more. But I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to try and have a baby with a third person, just to try and stop you from ignoring me any longer. But yeah, anyway, either way, I think you're coming back to me very soon, probably the 1st of July. Maybe sooner. It could be sooner. I don't really know. Um, all I know is that I think I should still go into some sort of Big Brother house, just because I feel like that would be the best way to do it. If you've got better other ideas or whatever, that's I'm open to change or whatever. I'd kind of want it to be an idea that's merged with your idea, but since no one's talking to me, I can't really merge my idea with someone else's idea. But I think I need that something I've always wanted when I was younger, to get onto Big Brother and to tell the world, have it like Big Brother, um, the Return of the Messiah, or something catchy like that, that would piss off all the Christians or all the religious people, to be like, what, the Messiah hasn't returned? And then I go in there claiming to be the Messiah, and I have 12 sort of housemates, and I don't really know if they're like believe me, or if they know, or whatever. um, and then yeah, maybe I get like a special room, like a god room or whatever. um, and then I just sort of try and, you can test me to see like what my religion is, and ask me questions about it. And I might need some help remembering, because my memory is really, really bad, that I just don't remember anything most of the time. I think it's selective memory that I have. So I'll remember certain things, and then I'll kind of blank out other things. But I think when I'm asking questions, when people ask me questions, I think my memory will like start picking up on things that may be relevant, or I don't know. But whatever I say will be dependent on what my memory is at that moment. Um, and so yeah, hopefully I can try and prove to the world that I am the Messiah through a sort of Big Brother thing. It needs to be like that, because it needs to be sort of real, like I'm in a situation where I'm being watched 24 hours a day, really. um, and then I can kind of prove that I'm not like getting help from other people, or that I am kind of on my own. I don't want to be on my own, but yeah, that's how it is. And I think people would be more believing to that if they saw me in a sort of 24-hour thing. And then you could have like some Netflix Big Brother or whatever. And I was saying that they're going to have Big Brother on Netflix, which means that anyone online can just log in and listen in on stuff. And I don't know what else is going to happen. I kind of thought that I would have my partner in the house, and I never knew what Martin thought of the idea, because I always pictured him as being the partner, and maybe he still is. So it's a little bit confusing with new donors, but I I don't know what to say about that. I know what sticks in my mind is that he says he doesn't want me to mention his name anywhere, and I'm but he said the same to Harriet. So I mean, Harriet told me that he basically said that same thing to her, and he was rejecting her, and so maybe I'm just reading into things. Um, and I'm very, very confused with him. So I, because he said a lot of really nasty things, but I just don't believe a word that he said. But I should do. It would be crazy to not believe a word that he said, because it was really kind of nasty. But of course, it's not crazy, because I've got so much evidence that I don't know how you could watch my videos and not believe me. Um, but maybe some people can. I mean, there's quite a few people, but everyone has said that, that they don't believe me, and I don't know why they're saying that, but I don't know. It's just what they always say. So then anyway, um, I don't know, but I know I've got two potential players who have a purpose, and I want to go on to Big Brother and promote my religion, because I want the world to watch me, and maybe get some celebrities involved after or during, or whatever, because I think that would really draw in interest. Um, and yeah, and then I'd like to meet Aaliyah's parents. That would be something I'd like to meet, and tell them that, yeah, I've got evidence that I was Aaliyah in my past life. I think that will shock a lot of people. Um, will they believe? Probably not. But yeah, I think there should be a contradiction going on. One of people that, aside during the daytime, people sort of, it's all about helping me and kind of believing, and well, not necessarily believing, but helping and listening, and trying to expose what it is that I believe. And then maybe there'll be a darker side where a lot of people are just mocking me, and that's kind of what I want, because um, when they realize that I'm right, I want them to know what their true opinions of God are. Whether you like me or not, whether you think I'm crazy or delusional or mad or whatever, I am Christ, and that is the end of it. There's no, you can think whatever you want about me, and that is your view of Christ. And if you don't accept that, well, one day people will know the truth. They will see that I am Christ, and they will look back on the thoughts and the things that they've said, or the things that they've told people, and they will know that actually God within themselves, which is me, because I've got a higher self, and I think everyone is made in my image, so they too have that same higher voice that they can listen to, and that is in them, and all the things that they've said about me is actually their thoughts of this higher voice in human form. Okay, me and this higher voice are different, because I'm a kind of dappier human version of that voice, and I think I'm actually the one who's creating that voice, because I'm constantly talking and kind of giving people advice, and feel like I'm having hundreds of conversations. Like, that's happened just every single day for the last 9 years or whatever. So if you're having a conversation with someone, it could just be something that I've gone through, and I'd had a conversation with you, but a lot of people ask the same sort of question. Like Amazon, or what's that robot thing? I've forgotten her name. That the little thing that talks. But yeah, if you ask a question, it will answer it. Now, the reason why it can answer it isn't because it's intelligent and it's like a real person, but it's more because it's asked a question that a lot of people do answer, and it's recognized what it's meaning and what the answer is. And I feel like, there's loads of people would want to ask questions, and I like to think about questions. So think, if someone asks this question, what would my response be? If someone asks this question, what would my response be? And I'm constantly doing that all day, every day, and yeah, it drives me a bit mad. But yeah, it's kind of like, what is her name? No, I don't know. Alexa, that's it. Yeah, it's kind of like, I think God is a little bit like an Alexa, and like the God in your head, that is not the God that actually does things. There's a God that actually does things and can, like, take souls and then reincarnate them into certain bodies and inspire people to do certain things. So you've got that kind of God, and then you've got the sort of Alexa God, which is more like a just giving advice. When you ask questions, you can give advice, but at the same time, if it's just a sort of Alexa kind of style thing, then that's where the voice isn't actually talking to you. It's just answering the questions regardless of who you are. If you were to say them in that certain order or say in a certain way, it'll give you an answer of that's related to what you said. So that's the best way to describe the voice in your head, like an intelligent or complex Alexa. But yeah, a lot of people, of course, are going to confuse that with something else. But yeah, that's what I think it is. And yeah, so I really want to go into some sort of Big Brother house, say all the things that I know, and then get people to promote whatever it is that I know. And when it comes to celebrities and singers, I will not say that that they all have different characters, that some represent me and that some don't. I'm going to try and keep that on the absolute low. And I will say that. I'm pretty sure I will say that not they don't all represent me, but I'll be saying it just to try and put myself down and make myself not seem as powerful as I actually am. And they'll think that I'm doing it for that reason too, just in case they watch a song and be like, oh, that's definitely not Anna. That's nothing like Anna. They'll just be like, oh, well, yeah, this is just one of the ones that aren't like me. And I want to definitely Christina, Rihanna, Britney, and Madonna are definitely the four that I want to talk about and say that they represent different characters. When I first woke up, those were the only characters that I woke up to. And then I started listening to lots and lots of songs, and I started getting really confused because on one hand, it sounded like those four, only in sort of different makeup, different view, different, and I started to think that I was like them because I did see myself in so many different things, like even Katy Perry and Beyonce. I saw myself in all of them really. It was only when I started to wake up more did I start to realize that actually these people are nothing like me. And then I started to realize, like, Beyonce is nothing like me, and I don't want to be like that. And so I guess I started to get to know myself more. And as I did that, I started to see how they were actually not that similar to me, like which is not what I thought at the beginning. But yeah, people, if they start believing, and if there is a big movement, and if I'm promoting the Bible and my new interpretations, there's hopefully going to be a lot of religious people that would prefer my view and take on all these different stories, and they'll start following the stories and believing them and supporting me. And the more I get a big following, the more people are going to listen and believe. But they're going to start making the mistake that I did at the beginning, which is to assume that all singers are trying to, like, sing words from me and not actually realize that actually different characters represent different things. That is going to come at Christmas. That is when, light me up, put me on top, yeah, la 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 la. I think that is what will happen when at Christmas time I will reveal that Gaga actually represents the devil, and therefore, if you listen to her, you are listening to me. That is me, but that's a negative side of me that is actually just trying to sort of, well, it's creative. There's good and bad in everything, but it's a bit not deceptive, but it's a bit my sort of God's angry side. And Rihanna again is kind of like my dark side. And I can say I like you, but which me is saying that? Is that the dark side of me saying I like you because I want to have fun messing you, screwing up your life or something? It's kind of complicated like that. But yeah, so that, and I think there might be some sort of plan to help the world, but it's not necessarily going to help the individual.